Greg's mom has started doing screen-free weekends where the kids can't use their phones or watch TV. I like to think that's the reason Greg has enough free time to write a 200-page book every year.
Argofunk Book Review, Argofunk Book Review.
Greg is caught by surprise when the school has International Showcase Day. Greg didn't finish his project on Malta. In fact, he didn't even finish writing the word Malta. Greg scrambles to get his project done in time. He makes up a bunch of stuff and hopes nobody calls him out on it. Luckily for Greg, the international showcase is closed early when all the countries fight over nothing. Just like in real life! Greg talks about all the kids who live on his street. There are over 30 kids, and there's no way I'll be able to remember that many characters. Their sworn enemies are the kids who live on the bottom of the street. The lower street kids don't let the hill kids play sports, and they try to steal the hill for sledding. You might be wondering what happened to the family's pet pig. It ran away because it was mad about being left out of the last book. The poor pig. Greg and his brothers fight over an amazing blanket. They make up so many rules and counter-rules that Mom eventually takes the blanket away. Walking home from school is difficult since there aren't any good places to stop and warm up. Nobody will let Rolly into their house to use the bathroom, so he is forced to poop behind a rock, which attracts a large crowd. This was a really gross scene. I don't think it should have been included. Greg's grandma is gone for the winter. Greg knows how to get into her house. He and Rolly go there to warm up. A snoopy neighbor mistakes them for burglars, so they hide in the basement. Greg and Rolly put on Grandma's clothes while their clothes are warmed up in the dryer. Mom catches the two of them, and she thinks... well, it's hard to tell what she thinks. The safety patrol has been taken over by angry girls. They force all the boys to use the snow-covered sidewalk, while they let the girls use the nice, clean road. The boys get revenge by throwing snowballs at safety patrol outside of school hours. I'm starting to think none of these boys will ever have girlfriends in high school. Greg loses a glove, so he's forced to wear a hand puppet to keep his fingers warm. When Greg's snow boots are ruined, he tries wearing pizza boxes like snowshoes. This quickly proves to be a bad idea. The boxes get wet, and he's attacked by dogs who want to eat the pizza. I can't believe Greg forgot to take the pizza out of the boxes before wearing them. It's a really stupid move. How could he waste perfectly good pizza like that? The kids at school misbehave because of the snow. The kids at school normally misbehave. I'm not sure why the snow makes them act differently. They have a sock fight, which stinks up the entire school, and the only germ prevention in use is eating cough drops because they taste like candy. Greg and Rolly try taking a school bus to Worley Street. A kid throws a snowball at the bus driver. Greg and Rolly are blamed because they're outsiders. They get chased into the woods where the Mingo kids live. On a snow day, Mom hides the batteries to the TV remote to force Greg to do all his chores. Greg cheats his way out of chores by using a TV that only needs one battery. Roderick cheats his way out of doing chores by sleeping all day long. Roderick's plan is more successful, as Greg has to watch Manny half the day. He tries playing The Floor is Lava, which scares Manny. He tries leaving Manny on the deck, but Manny escapes. Greg hires some kids to clear the driveway. They get revenge on Greg when he tries to get out of paying them. Isn't that what happened to Greg when he started a snow shoveling business? The last 60 pages of the book are a giant snow fight. It starts with Greg and Rolly making an igloo, which the other kids knock down. Dad suggests making an official snow fort with a flag, but all the other kids attack. The next day, pretty much all the different kid groups have a snow fort. Greg and Rolly try to steal a fort, and mayhem ensues. All the kids join forces to stop their enemies, the lower street kids. They build a double wall, and the fight goes on for hours, until a decoy named Trevor tricks them into abandoning their base. Mayhem ensues. All the kids join forces to fight off the safety patrol. Mayhem ensues. All the kids join forces to fight off the Whirly Street kids. Mayhem ensues. All the kids join forces to fight off the Mingo kids. I am sensing a pattern here. Mayhem ensues until the snowplow clears the street, then everybody goes home. The end. Post-book follow-up. I wasn't a big fan of this book, but that's partly because I've spent my whole life in places where we don't get enough snow for sledding and big snow fights. I didn't know walking on plowed streets to avoid sidewalks was even a thing. The book does a decent enough job of separately introducing all the kid groups that appear at the end, outside of that one section where it introduces over 20 kids at once. It should have been more like 5 kids. Greg listed a bunch of kids on his street in book 8. This would have been a perfect chance to bring some of them back instead of replacing them. They brought back the Mingo kids. Why were they the kids that got to reappear? The previous book has about 460 words written in all caps. This book has about 800 capitalized words, or about 3.7 per page. I hope the author didn't break the caps lock key on his computer. Overall, it's an okay book in the series. I didn't care for it personally, but it's not like I can point to a bunch of elements that are objectively bad. There are plenty of people who thought it was great. I do like how the stories at the start of the book appropriately foreshadow the big snowball fight at the end. I give Diary of a Wimpy Kid number 13, The Meltdown, a 6 out of 10.